Why, hello, everybody. My name is Seth Weiner. I am your Rocktioneer, and I'm back in Atlanta. And just like I promised, I brought that 70-degree weather with me from South Florida. I did. It's all me. When it rains tomorrow, not me. Not at all me. All right, well, it's a true pleasure to be back. I can't believe I've been gone for 2 months. I'm wearing the same jacket. Finally get a new jacket. This T-shirt I have to share. This trumpet. Chris Littlefield, trumpet player, Carl Dentz's Tiny Universe, and now with Michael McLemore has this new line of clothes. And I dig it. You know, trumpet player as I am, it's nice to I can wear the trumpet. I can't really play it, not that well. Well, folks, like I said, it's so great to be back, and it's so weird. You know what's weird is that it's not weird. You can be gone for 2 months, you come right back and get right back in your same routine. And so hopefully many of you are doing just that and getting back into your spring routine, getting your fundraising kicking, be it virtually, be it, maybe not in person, maybe a hybrid, maybe however you're doing it. Don't give up. People will give. You need to connect with your supporters and keep them engaged in what you're doing. I know many of you, and you all are doing really good work out there. So don't give up. Keep going at it. And I'm so impressed with it, seeing so many organizations doing just that. Well, today we've got a great show for you, and we've got a great lineup coming up for the next couple weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. As you know, Coffee Connections is conversations with nonprofit innovators in the Atlanta area, where we're going to share their missions, about their current successes and challenges. And today is no different, because we have with us Kate Hewitt, the Executive Director of 21st Century Leaders. They're a nonprofit organization in Georgia that connects, transforms, and inspires high school students from diverse backgrounds to become the next generation of leaders. Kate became only the second person to assume the role of executive director in the organization's history. Now, they've been together, this organization is over 30 years. So they had the same executive director for over 29 years. And Kate has been involved with the organization and has worked almost every position with the organization since 2014. So she really knows the organization in and out, from the marketing to the fundraising and operations. Under her guidance, this is really interesting, folks. She has helped the organization double their individual giving. She's helped launch the organization's first advisory council and junior board of directors, and created its fourth summer leadership institute focused on healthcare and IT institute. So we've got a very, very good guest, and I'm going to bring her into the show right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Kate, hi, how are you?
Hey, Seth. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for your time today, slicing a little bit. I mean, it's beautiful outside, so I know you're probably like me, looking at it and going, why am I indoors?
Well, that's kind of where we are these days, isn't it? Indoors.
Yeah, well, so Coffee Connections. Do you drink coffee?
Love coffee.
Oh, good.
Got a cup right here.
Oh, let's see that mug.
Yeah. Good vibes only. We need more of those around, right? Good vibes.
Yeah. Well, do you get good vibes drinking your coffee?
I do. It was actually a gift from my staff a couple, I guess maybe 2 years ago. So.
Were they trying to say something to you, or just remind?
I don't know. I think we try to bring good vibes, good energy to the team and to the office when we're able to be together. So but definitely a coffee drinker every morning.
All right. So tell me, do you make your own coffee?
I guess in this point.
All right. Do you brew your own coffee?
We do.
Okay. So office brew. You don't brew coffee at home. You go to the office and brew there?
Both. I have a cup of coffee in the morning that my husband makes. And then when I come into the office, I also have another cup of coffee.
Okay. Do you like your coffee with cream, sugar? What's your deal?
Just a little bit of cream. That's it. But then, and other times I'll just drink it straight. But I like a little creamer. And
now, very important question. In the summer, do you drink iced coffee?
I don't really that much. My husband really enjoys iced coffee. But I like the hot cup of coffee, even in the summertime.
How do you keep your coffee hot?
I just reheat it in the microwave when it gets.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I'll do for you.
Kids, so it gets cold pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, how old are your kids?
5 and 3.
Oh, nice. Five's fun. 5 is fun.
Is.
3 is, 3's 3. But 5 is...
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun boys.
No, that's good. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you because you need to have hot coffee. I've got these Coffee Connection mugs, and I'm going to send you one.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Love to
That's
add that
my
to the collection.
Yeah, well, you got to keep your coffee hot, you know. All right, well, there's a lot to talk about, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to hand you the mic. Can you tell everyone about 21st Century Leaders?
Yeah, 21st Century Leaders, really this mission is to, as you mentioned before, connect, transform, and inspire high school students from diverse backgrounds to really leverage diversity, explore career opportunities, and ultimately become leaders in their schools, communities, in the workforce. So we were really founded on the two principles of leadership development and also diversity and inclusion training, and the focus on diverse leaders. So we were founded in 1989 by a group of business professionals who really saw two trends in their industry and in their own corporate offices, which was one, their employees they lacked the leadership skills or really life skills as we know it to take on those leadership roles in their organizations. And then the second was a lack of diversity in leadership positions. And so we've really rooted into those two core focuses of leadership development and diverse leadership. And it's really springboard from there on also career exploration because we were founded by corporations and business professionals. Majority of our funding comes from corporations, actually about 60%. They really identify the need for diversifying their workforce and their talent. And so we provide year-round programming for high school students across the state of Georgia. And when we talk about students from diverse backgrounds, we really mean that in every sense of the word. So, diversity of race and ethnicity, a geographic location, economic background, diversity of religions, thoughts, opinions. We really believe that it's so important to expose students as early as we can. In high school being such a pivotal point in a person's life and where they're going to go next, and expose them to a diverse group of people. And so we do that through year-round programming. We've got 1 week summer residential programs on college campuses when we're able to be in person. And then also school year programming. So school-based clubs. We have a really awesome online learning platform that we launched a couple of years ago and also multiple leadership summits as well throughout the school year.
Well, that's all really wonderful stuff. And I've got a load of questions.
Okay.
Well, for one, you mentioned that it started with in Atlanta with some corporate leaders. What corporations were involved, or just a few, if you can remember?
Yeah. So really, our largest, our longest kind of supporter and corporation is Warner Media, formerly Turner Broadcasting. So they've been a corporate partner and support of ours since the early 90s. And really have always supported us through multiple programs and year-round support, and then really started this kind of co-branding programming. And so we work with them on a 1 week summer residential program called Warner Media Institute for Future Leaders. But they've really been such an instrumental company that be involved, as well as Cox Enterprises and Communications. Cox actually was one of the companies. We had a former board member back in the 90s who really gave us a more formal kind of diversity inclusion curriculum to really integrate into our programs back in the 90s. So they've been a pivotal part of that, as well as Georgia Power has always been a longtime supporter of ours as well.
So you're powered by Georgia Power. That does kind of make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's focusing on leadership and it's focusing on the youth, which makes, and it's been 31 years, is 32?
32.
32 years. So I'm thinking you got to have some folks that we'd recognize, right? Some leaders of our world right now that came from your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Since we were founded, launched our first program, we've served over 15,000 high school students from across the state who have gone on to do some extraordinary things across not just Georgia and the country, but really around the world.
Wow.
And so we've got a couple of alumni that are serving on our board. In fact, our treasurer, Maria Flores Blackburn, is an alum of our program, is now working for Southern Company, which obviously is part of Georgia Power. And that was a program she actually went to when she was in high school. And so now she's working for that same company. Corey Dortch, who is the assistant dean of MBA programs at Emory University. He's an alum of our program, originally from Augusta, went through our programs. But we've got a lot of alumni from around the country that are doing some really amazing things. We also have some, more recognizable entertainment leaders, but for us, leadership really isn't about the title or the position. It's about your actions and how you treat others, and how you're really serving others. So while it's really wonderful to recognize some of the high level or kind of leadership title, for us, that's not really what it's all about.
That's fascinating. I really like that. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because it's not just about creating future leaders as in marquee names, but it's about creating the skills that good leaders, because that's the thing, a good leader isn't always the one that a good leader, what they always say, like the best leader is the one that knows how to follow, right? And is the kind of that vibe. But so teaching these kids that's beautiful. Now, I'm still wondering though, there's a lot of kids that could use this opportunity. How does a kid get involved? Are they handpicked? What's the process for that?
Yeah, so those are great questions. We've got 3 entry points into our organization. One is through our Summer Leadership Institutes, which is an application-based program. Funny enough, applications are open right now. Actually, the deadline for our Summer Youth Leadership Institute at Gwisweta, the Warner Media Institute, as well as our Healthcare and IT, the deadline for that is actually March 1st, which is a Monday. So students still have time to get their applications in. But if accepted, then they can, if accepted into the Institute, then they'll become a member of 21st Century Leaders and have access through all of our programs throughout the school year and really essentially the rest of their high school career. So once you're a part of us, we don't like to let you go. You can be a part of us for as long as you'd like. And certainly our alumni, and then after high school, that continues on. The second entry point is through our school-based programs, school and community-based, our 21st Century Leaders Clubs. So if you have a club at your school or community, or if you want to start one, then you can join the club and then essentially become a part of our program and have access to all of our school year programming. And then the third entry, which is kind of our newest entry point, is our Leadership Connect, which is our online learning platform. We started piloting this online platform back in 2014. Little did we know that this would become such an instrumental part of our organization in surviving in this virtual world that we've all been living in for the last year. But students can enroll into that platform at any time and join the organization, then have access to all of our school year programs. And right now we have over 130 online modules of leadership content, social and emotional intelligence content, diversity inclusion training, civic engagement, financial literacy, all of the leadership and life skills that we believe really make a well-rounded leader.
And when you mention the schools, is the organization seeking the schools out, or are the schools seeking the organization out?
It's a little bit of both, actually. Mm-hmm. So we've had some longstanding partnerships and relationships with for instance, our club at Grady High School, now Midtown High School, we've had a club there for 20 years. So we have some longstanding partnerships with, some schools and school districts, but then we have other schools or community centers that reach out to us. So we started a partnership with Savannah Community Resource Center down in Savannah, Georgia, last year. And so they started a club for their community resource center, which pulls a multitude of high school students from area high schools together when they're there at their after school program.
And Georgia's a pretty large state, and that's a lot of ground to cover. What kind of staff do you have to manage all of this?
Believe it or not, we are a staff of 4 full-time.
What? Hold on a second. Hold on.
When you talk about nonprofits working multiple hats, yes. When you talk about nonprofits workers wearing multiple hats, it is so true. We are small, but we are certainly mighty. We serve about 1,000 students a year, and obviously within that, probably provide 170 days of live, training for our students across the state. But yeah, a staff of 4. In fact, 2 of our staff members in the program department, directors of programs, they're both alumni of the program. So they were in it when they were in high school and have come back and served. We are currently hiring our 5th employee. So we are on the hunt for a program manager right now. So if anyone
they can go right there. It's 21stcenturyleaders.org.
Absolutely. Or email info.21st or info@21stcenturyleaders.org and send us your resume, and also can be found on our LinkedIn page as well.
Wow. And what was the position? Say that again.
Program manager.
Cool. Well, what's a program manager do for you all?
Yeah, they're really, managing and administrating a lot of our year-round programs and assisting the program department. And our program department is only 2 people, so we are really needing to expand that. A lot of our programs have expanded. In fact, Leadership Connect alone has doubled enrollment over the last year, as you can imagine, being in, with COVID and schools going virtual, and so many of all of our programs going virtual. Leadership Connect demand is really high, and we are just fortunate to be in that position. But that also means that we're needing more help to oversee programs like that, and manage the database and work with the students, and we've also been expanding our club program too, and so really needing some more passionate professionals to come on board and help us inspire our students.
And hopefully these professionals will be as incredible as you have been for the organization. I mean, I'm just blown away by the fact that you were able to double your individual giving in the time that you became executive director. That's just really, it's one thing to make it better, but to double it, that's really impressive. So let's talk a little bit about fundraising. I mean, there's the staff, and it's a large ground to cover, and you've got a lot of technology behind you and an office, etc. Where does this money come from, other than, you mentioned the corporations, and that's a big part. You talked a little bit about, you doubled your individual giving, but so let's talk a little bit about where that money comes from, and then how you were able to double, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of insights.
Yeah, sure. So, we've just got really fantastic, amazing donors and supporters, from the corporations to grants and foundations, and to our individuals. And a big piece of our individual giving, and kind of that expansion over the last 2 years, has really been rooted, honestly, in our junior board of directors. That they've been a real big proponent in helping us really push out individual giving, and I think really encouraging alumni to give back to the organization that inspired and impacted them so much. So what's really cool about our junior board of directors is it's solely comprised of alumni of the organization, and helping them build their leadership skills as they are entering the workforce and establishing themselves as young professionals. And so they've been really driving a monthly giving program that we have called 21st Century Leaders Giving Circle, and really encouraging other alumni to sign up to give monthly, to keep that donations and income sustainable for us and revenue. So they've been a really big driving force behind that, as well as we've really been really strategic about individual giving campaigns, and really wrapping it around programs that are very specific. So we've been doing a 21st Century Leaders Club campaign the last 2 years to really help support our school and community-based clubs. And that's been a big driver on our individual giving.
And I love the monthly idea. I mean, that's obviously something that really works well for nonprofits, and it's a hard thing though to get off the ground. But once it gets off the ground, it seems that it goes. Did you see a drop in the monthly donors due to COVID, or did that stay steady?
It actually stayed pretty steady. I mean, we're still building it up. It's a slow climb, but it's certainly getting there, and it's just $21 a month.
I love that. That makes 21, sense.
21 reference, but surprisingly, we really haven't seen a drop in that monthly giving, or really in our individual donations in general, which we've been really surprised by. I think, but then also not so surprised given our mission and what we stand for, and especially during the last year and a half and what we've seen, and understanding and recognizing the importance and relevancy of leadership development, as well as diversity and inclusion and equity. And that's all rooted into 21st Century Leaders and who we are and what we do and what we and how we invest in our students. And so I think that kind of relevancy and impact is really kind of ramped up our mission even more, and elevated us to the point where our donors and supporters are recognizing how needed that is now more than ever.
And folks, if you are watching and inclined, we invite you to make a donation and get involved at 21stcenturyleaders.org. And while we're talking about that, you've got a fundraiser coming up, don't you?
We do. Yes, it is. I like to say the most inspiring event of the year because it's so true. It is our Georgia Youth Leadership Awards, where we recognize and honor 21 outstanding high school students from across the state that are all part of 21st Century Leaders and all doing amazing, extraordinary work. So we've got nonprofit founders, entrepreneurs, community activists and advocates, really outstanding students. And so we announced the list of students, I guess it was maybe 2 weeks ago. And our event is on Thursday, March 25th. It will be virtual this year, but we've got a really cool virtual platform that we're using called Event Lab. It makes it really interactive and fun for the guests and participants. So there's some live video networking you can do, like you would at like if there was a cocktail reception to network with people. We've got customized rooms that you can look more about each student and our sponsors. So this year, our presenting sponsor is Warner Media, and so learning more about companies like that and what they're doing in their community, and then of course our live webcast that will be taking place. So Thursday, March 25th at 6 p.m. I think about 6 to 8 p.m. is how long we'll go. And I know we're probably all, not wanting to do as much virtual things after we've been on our computers all day.
Right.
But we're trying to capitalize on the Thursday. We understand that on the weekends, people really want to tune off and just kind of take a break. So we really encourage those just to keep those computers on after work and log on with us and have a great time and celebrate these really amazing students. And part of the awards is we are not only giving them award and recognition, but each student will receive a $500 grant
nice.
And put towards post-secondary education, to their own businesses or nonprofits. And then Warner Media will be selecting one of those students as a presenting sponsor to receive a $1,000 grant.
That's awesome. Now, I've been to several, obviously, online events. I've used I've been on an event that was on the software you speak of, and it is engaging. And folks, I'm telling you, don't be afraid. This is everyone's like, oh, I have Zoom fatigue. Well, you're not on a conference call, and you're not a lawyer pretending to be a cat.
That was the best video of 2021. Let me just tell you.
So far, yeah, it really was. I agree. So it's engaging. It's you'll be able to give, and you'll be able to see the work that 21st Century Leaders do. You'll see these kids, and you'll hear their stories, and it's heartwarming. And I say this because I didn't realize this until Kate and I started talking. I'm like, gosh, this organization sounds familiar. I actually helped a colleague of mine, formerly Auction Event Works, but now it's a new name. And I apologize for getting their new name. They just rebranded.
Boundless Impact.
There you go. Boundless Impact. Megan McRoberts, another phenomenal auctioneer here in the Atlanta area. But I helped her company. I was at one of these a couple years ago, and the stories are just incredible. Like the folks, these kids are just like, their stories are just incredible. And you could see that, I mean, in just their postures, like they're living the leadership, tools that they're learning. So you can see the proofs in the pudding, and it's a delicious pudding. So I encourage everyone to go to 21stcenturyleaders.org and donate and learn more and participate and be a part of it.
And if you can't make it to the actual event, we have a wonderful online auction that will be going on. That'll open actually on March 22nd. And so it will be open a few days leading up to the event. And so we've got some really awesome auction items. So you could bid and make a donation and support that way. I will say it's important for me to mention that all of our programs that we provide the summer and the school year, all that comes at little to no cost. And we never turn away a student for their inability to pay if there is, a registration or enrollment fee attached. And so fundraising events like this, and for our organization in particular, are so crucial for us to keep that mission. That's, when we're talking about equity, it's always been so important for us to provide programs, high leadership development programs, high level leadership programs to any and all students who want to be a part of it. And we're able to able to keep that promise because of events like this.
That's great. And it was, I know anyone that's been to one in the past is definitely going to miss the social aspect, but that's coming back. We're going to look back at this and remember how we were able to either sit on the couch or get off the couch, depending on who you are, right? I mean, some people are going to appreciate the time that they were able to sit and veg. Others are going to appreciate the time of going out and breathing the outdoor air. So whatever that is for you, that's you.
Right. And you can still sit on the couch and veg and watch the event, on your computer. So,
that you can.
We can please both people.
Absolutely. So before we close things out, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to bring up about the 21st Century Leaders or anything?
I think just really encourage people, if you know a high school student or work with high school students, I really encourage you to share our organization with them, with their parents, guardians, teachers, whoever may be, to get them involved really across the state. And, it's just really important to be able to provide opportunities like this for students. And I know, we've switched to this virtual digital world right now with our programming, but even that, it's so important for them to have those connection points right now with peers, like-minded peers, especially just really for their mental and emotional support right now and health, and making sure that they're connecting with other folks that, aren't in their area or in their home. So really encourage you to share and just really appreciate your time, and anyone who's interested in getting involved in 21st Century Leaders. We really rely on our volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering with our organization or getting involved, please.
What would a volunteer do?
So all of our volunteers, they lead, and they're the ones that are leading all of our workshops and sessions. So as a staff of 4, we can't do it all. So we really rely on our volunteers to be the ones, speaking with the students, doing roundtables, workshops. So all of our programming is led by our corporate and business professionals. We usually have around anywhere between 400 and 600 volunteers annually that work with our organization.
Wow, that's quite a lot. So who manages the connections with the volunteers out of the 4 people in your office?
3 of the 4. It's a multi, we all kind of work hand in hand to do that. So right now all of the applications for our summer institutes are all read and reviewed by volunteers. The interviews that are required are all conducted by our volunteers.
Wow.
And all of the sessions. So we have a winter summit coming up this Saturday, our Griswold Leadership Summit, focused on supply chain, logistics, construction is kind of the industry and leadership. So we've got 4 executive panels that'll be, leading the conversation on that. And then actually Griswold's Business School, the MBA students will be leading the students in a case study competition. So we really rely on them to work with the students hands-on.
Is there a particular field that you might be in need of a volunteer, a segment of the corporate world or anything like that?
We're still building up a lot of our volunteer base within the healthcare and IT industry, because we launched our 4th Summer Institute last year on healthcare and IT. We had actually been working on launching that institute for over a year. Little did we know that we'd be launching it in a pandemic. So it became very relevant and very important for us to still launch it, even though we couldn't do it in person. So Piedmont Healthcare is one of our leading sponsors for that institute, but always looking for executives or passionate healthcare industry leaders or technology industry leaders to support our students for that program. So we really encourage if anyone's interested in getting involved with us in that particular industry, we'd be interested in connecting.
Cool. Well, you heard it, folks. Now act. 21stCenturyLeaders.org. Well, thanks so much, Kate. I really enjoyed chatting with you today. I appreciate you being so open to share everything with us here. And before I let you go, though, I close every episode with my guests getting to choose and recommend a future guest for Coffee Connections, an innovator in the Atlanta nonprofit world. And do you have one that you'd like to recommend?
I do have someone to recommend, and it's actually with an organization that we are kind of collaborating with. I can't say too much more of the program yet, but we're really excited to be partnering with them on some new ventures, and that's going to be Jordan Rose from Science ATL.
Awesome. Very much appreciate the connection there. And I haven't had anyone in the science world yet, so I'd very much like that.
Yeah.
So we'll keep in touch. Thank you so much for your time, folks. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back on Tuesday with the Georgia Music Foundation. Lisa Love, the foundation director. We got Crew Girls coming up, as well as Second Wind and much more. We'll see you next week. Thanks.